Today I am going to be servicing my Fox 32 forks. They need seal replacements, new foam rings and new crush washers. Here you can see I've ordered a seal kit. Here's what it comes with. So it comes with, first of all, a dust wiper seal. This is basically doesn't let anything into the fork, such as water, dust, that kind of thing. This is a foam ring. This is to lubricate the top half of your stanchion, and it's recommended that you stretch these out a small bit. Just going to do the other one here. And finally, these two crush washers. These go on the bolts at the bottom of your fork. So first, start by removing your front wheel. Now remove your brake caliper. Now remove this brake hose fastener. Now you'll want to undo this to take your headset apart in this order. After doing all that, you can take your handlebars off. Be careful because your headset assembly contains loads of small parts. I'd recommend keeping a small pot nearby to store all the little bits in. Now you can slide your handlebars off and carefully slide the fork out of the frame. Here it is. While you're here, you can check your headset bearings and see if they need servicing too. Mine are fine. Now you'll want to move your bike off to the side so you can use the bike stand for working on your fork. After removing the rebound knob, you'll see these two 10mm bolts at the bottom. Now clean up your fork, put it in your bike stand, and you can start some work on it. Firstly, remove all of the air from the fork. Do this using a shock pump. You can see it decompressing. And use something like a small Allen key to make sure there's absolutely no air in it. Now you can undo the two 10mm bolts at the bottom. Now you'll need a piece of drift to place over your damper side and hit it with a hammer. My fork took some persuasion and time, but eventually it came loose. Now you can see oil dropping out of the bottom of the fork, so you'll want a tray to catch all of that oil, and you'll want to let it drain for a little while. And in time being, you can clean your stanchions and the assembly with an appropriate cleaner. I'm using brake cleaner as it evaporates. Just wipe it down with a rag. And you'll want to do this with the lower legs as well. And continue to let it drain. Now you can remove your old foam rings and place them off to the side. You can use something thin like a pick. I'm using a small Allen key. Now you'll want to use a 90mm open-ended wrench to wrench the old wiper seals out. I've done a terrible job with this first one, but then I got it out fine eventually. Now you'll want to clean out these areas Make sure there's no oil or brake cleaner about. You can even use a long Allen key and place your rag over it, and it makes it a lot easier to clean in there. Now you'll want to place your new foam rings in your oil bath oil. I'm using Fox's 20 weight gold oil. And now you'll want to put some brake cleaner on your new wiper seals, as they come with a waxy coating, and wipe that off. Now you'll want to place your wiper seals into the lower legs. You can do this using a correctly sized socket or the dedicated tool. I'm using a socket and a hammer. Now once those are in, you want to place your foam rings soaked in your oil back into where they came out of. This may be a bit fiddly, but you'll get it eventually. Now put some grease on the wiper seals. I'd recommend using something like Slick Honey, something like that. Just place them on the seals. Now you can slide the lower legs back on. Give it a bit of a squidge. And now you'll want to put your forks horizontal, as you'll be putting oil in them. So adjust your bike stand to the appropriate height so it's easy to work on. Now you'll want to put your oil in. My oil asks for 30 cc's or milliliters of Fox's 20 weight gold oil, so you just put that in. Now you can put your new crush washers in your nuts and tighten them back up. Now you'll want to pump your fork back up to a lowish pressure for the minute. You can adjust your sag later. Now get your bike back in the stand, slide your fork back through the headset assembly, make sure your handlebars are in the right place. And with great difficulty, put your headset back together, all while holding the handlebars, the fork, all of that. Slide your handlebars back on. Now tighten your stem bolts and your top gap back in tight enough, and your brake hose fastener. Put your brake caliper back on. Put your wheel back on and take her for a ride.